How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of a new brewery time. Former Crank Arm Brewing, it is their Whitewall wheat. This is an American Belgio style wit. American Belgio. So it's an American version of Belgian style wit ale. And 4.4%, and this comes courtesy of my boy Oak Ridge. Yeah, he travels up and down the East Coast. These guys are in North Carolina, aren't they? Yeah, Raleigh. And yeah, it says this is our take on the Belgian classic wit beer. While we use traditional wheat, malt, and Belgian yeast typical of wit style beers, we do not add coriander or orange zest. Instead, we utilize American variety of citra hops from flavor, aroma, and dry hop. The bouquet and palate of this beer is juicy grapefruit with a hint of grassiness, light in the body. This beer drinks well year-round, but is exceptional when the weather gets warm. It is 80 degrees in my room right now, so it be warm. And look at that, a little bit of GABF medals, because that means not much, to be perfectly honest with you. So it means it's not a poopy beer, but you know, you're talking about a brewery that makes a Belgian-style wit beer and cans it. Chances are it's going to be pretty good because, you know, it's not a style that's going to fly off the shelves for most people, even though it's kind of an oddly popular beer when it comes to kind of tweener drinkers, like people that are kind of the craft beer, or not really, or people getting into craft beer. Belgian wit beer is actually one of the more one of my go-tos if I have a friend who's like not really into beers or craft beers at all, but kind of wants to get into it, and I don't want to like bombard them with like barley wines and IPAs. Belgian wit beer is actually one of the best beers to kind of get people into the craft beer door. Label-wise, it's cool. You know, it's a little crank from a bicycle. What do you want? Yeah, soft taste to it. Looks like an OG hazy, and by that I mean it looks like a Belgian wit beer. Yeah, wit beers are the OG hazies. Index finger, kind of pillowy, creamy top to it. Pretty kind of neurotic bubbles on the edge. Kind of a soapy, rocky kind of edge to it with this creaminess in the middle. And it's got that soft haze that you come to expect from a nice kind of Belgian or German wit beer. Now, let's see what the nose has to offer. I like that quite a bit because you get a soft, very soft little bubblegum component, but then you get a big bombardment of that citrus in there. Without having that added a kind of orange peel, you're really leaning heavily, into the hops, because that citrus component is not coming from a yeast. It's a Belgian yeast. It's not like it's like a citrus kind of yeastiness like a Brett C or anything like that. So that's all hoppiness goes in. I got a big, bright, kind of orange, kind of zestiness with a bit of fleshy sweetness to it, with that nice little soft little bubble gum on there, and then just this nice soft weedy based kind of sweetness. Yeah, it smells pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Very impactful. You know, anytime, and it was my knee-jerk reaction when I first saw the can and the description, whenever I see American wheat ale, I'm kind of like, uh-oh, so you mean a wheat beer devoid of all flavor and fun? Because that's kind of how American wheats kind of go. American golden, American wheat. Once I saw the Belgian, I was like, okay, they're just saying they're making a Belgian wit beer, but they're doing it from America, kind of proper phrasing and whatnot. And then when they actually dived in there, said there's no coriander. Not that I hate coriander, I actually dig it quite a bit, but I can take it or leave it sometimes on wit beers. But they talked about imparting that kind of orange slice that you see a lot of people do with wheat beers, but using those citra hops to kind of impart that kind of flavoring. It's quite nice, actually, and it works really well. I've had this done before by a couple different breweries. But this one comes off really expressive on all fronts. That soft little bubblegum, that nice kind of citrus component, orange, heavily leaning orange citrus component. There is a little pop of bittering in there, so that's nice because it's got a little bit of sweet on sweet. So you have a little bit of that balance going on. Nice, soft, not creamy, but soft kind of mouthfeel to it. Something you expect from an unfiltered kind of wheat beer. You want that kind of mouthfeel. It kind of comes part and parcel with the style. This is a really good beer. Man, I would crush this all day. How old is this? So you guys know. And this beer is 4 months old. Not that wheat beers, you know, don't last, but you're talking about a really expressive hopped version of a wheat beer. So these hops are vibrant. They're expressive. It's 4.4%. It really is very close to being like a kind of IPA kind of vibe, but a wheat-based IPA. That's kind of how it's coming off. That's how citrus leaning those hops come off. But it still is at its core a wheat beer, which is a cool kind of trick to pull off. So I think this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Oak Ridge, because this is the kind of stuff that really kind of turns me on. And they said, on a really hot day, this is kind of what it's built for. And 80 degrees in my room, super hot. You probably hear the fan turning. This is an absolutely fantastic beer for any time, really. But right now, it's hitting the spot. So let's talk about it. So one of the better American versions of a Belgian wit beer. Oh, let's go wit beers in general. Belgian wit beers. Yes, it might be Mount Rushmore status. That's how much I dig this beer. It's coming off vibrant. It's coming off drinkable. It's coming off expressive on all the points they kind of called out in the label. Can't underestimate, or whatever kind of, you can't underestimate. That's not the word I'm looking for. What the hell's the word I'm looking for? You cannot express enough how important that is when people call out specific things in a label and actually produce. So yeah, absolutely tasty beer up there. Value and availability, I have no idea. You're talking about a tall boy, you're talking about a Belgian weight, you're talking about 4.4%. If this is sub 12, if yours is sub $12 for a 4-pack of Pounders, I'm a happy dude. I doubt this is brewery only because, well, it has UPC on it, so I don't think so. Anyway, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like Belgian wits, if you like hot, hazy kind of New England style beers, but you can get down with wheat beers every now and then. It's like kind of melange of both of those because the way those citrus hops come off. If you like beer, you will like this one. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcast, same thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice little crank arm right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.